If you want that open air feel with an off-road look for your 2020 or newer JT Gladiator, these front and rear trail doors in texture black will be a great pick. Now, trail doors are a great mod for the JT owner who's looking for some more freedom when it comes to driving, whether you're on or off-road, while still maintaining that sense of security when the full factory doors are off. Now, this set will be great if you're searching for that freedom and want it in a full set of doors to provide that protection for the trail and style for the street, thanks to the netting and the very sleek approach that these have. Now, I do want to call out right off the bat that I do only have one front door and one rear door on the table, but this does come with all 4 doors in the kit. I also want to call out that this does not come with mirrors in the kit, so if you want to retain full factory-like visibility, that's something that you will need to add, but this does have mounting locations for an OE style mirror. Now, as you can see, these are going to feature more of that minimal design or traditional design compared to other doors, which I really think adds a sleek element to the set and goes with every style build, no matter what parts you have on it. Now, the netting is also an added bonus, not only for the look, but especially for you guys that are going off-road that want to keep your legs protected from any branches or brush that have the potential to rub up against the Jeep. Now, it'll also do a great job of adding that open air feel in addition to some added visibility on off-road situations, better than your full doors could offer. Now, the netting itself is going to be super easy to use and take off if you need to. And speaking of ease of use, this is going to come with heavy duty latches that will provide full adjustability. So when you install these are going to have a solid fit and you can fine tune them to your preferred fit while also being very easy to use on a day-to-day basis, just like your factory doors. Now, this set of doors is going to be super solid, made of a 1 1/4 inch diameter steel tube construction. Now, on top of that will be a texture black powder coat finish, not only to protect the steel from rusting underneath, but also to add that off-road appearance. Now, the netting will be made of a strong nylon material, which will hold up incredibly well and resist any tears or fading, and again, is going to be removable with heavy-duty Velcro, so you can wash it and remove it whenever you need to. Now, there's also going to be some foam padding on the inside of the top and bottom here. That's going to provide some comfortability as far as resting your arm on top and protect your shins if they do come in contact with the bottom of the door. This kit will come in at right around the $850 mark, which for a full set I think is very reasonable. Compared to other options, again, these really shine through in the fact that these included that more simplistic design and the removable netting to give you some options on how you want to run the doors. Now, another great thing is the fact that this is going to come with the front and rear doors together, so you don't have to worry about pairing a set, and it's going to come with everything that you need minus the mirrors, but that just leaves the options open to build your Gladiator the way that you want it to. All you have to do is order this set and go, making this a great choice. Now, install will be a 1 out of 3 wrenches on the difficulty meter, taking you about an hour to get the job done with some pretty basic hand tools. Now, at this point, we can head over to our shop and check out a detailed breakdown on how to get these onto your Gladiator at home. So that's going to wrap it up for me. Let's go ahead and get into the install.
The tools you're going to need for this install include an electric or regular 3/8 ratchet, 13mm socket, a T40 Torx, and a T50 Torx, and a 13mm wrench. What's up, guys? Today we're going to be installing trail doors on our Gladiator, so let's get started. Alright guys, so the first step we're going to do is we're going to remove these 2 bolts on our door hinges, and to do so you're going to grab a T50 Torx socket to remove these 2 bolts. Next step, we're going to come under the dash. We're going to remove this cover piece. So we're going to reach from the back, give it a light pull, let this dangle off to the side. Now we can remove this connector. There's a red tab here we're going to lift up. Then there's a black tab under the white lever. We're going to press down on that black tab, and then we can lift up that lever. Pull down our connector, and from here, to pull our door a little bit closer to us, we're going to lift up our door stop. Right. Then we can just tuck this into the side of the door. Now, once our harness is removed, we're going to grab a T40 Torx socket and we're going to remove this bolt for the door check. We want to make sure that we have a hold on our door because that's going to stop the swinging. Remove our bolt. Now we can remove our door. So now we can lift up and remove our door. So now that we have our door removed, you can repeat that process on the passenger side. All right, so now for the rear doors, it's pretty much going to be that same process. We're going to take our T50 Torx and remove these two bolts. Set these off to the side. Now for our next step, we're going to remove this plastic cover. Just pulls right out. Then we're going to remove this connector here, which we're going to press down on this tab and remove our connector. Then we can pull the door a little closer to lift up on this strap. Now we can remove our door check. Now we can take our T40 Torx and remove this bolt. Set our bolt off to the side. Now we can remove our door. Now it's going to be that same process as the front door. We're going to lift up and remove our door. Now you can repeat that process on the other side. All right guys, so now we have our new front door on our table here. We have our hinges that we got to assemble, so that's going to go under. The underside is the front of the door. So what we're going to do is we're going to grab our bolt, lock washer, and washer. We're going to put it through the back. And then here we will put a washer and nut. Now I'm going to repeat those steps for the remaining two. We're going to leave these loose and just hand tight until we get everything lined up on the vehicle. So to snug these up, we're going to use a 13mm socket and a 13mm wrench. Now we're going to repeat this process for the front. Next, we're going to be attaching our door hinge. So we're going to have our bracket and the lines that are going up and down. They're going to be on the door itself. And we're going to grab our washer and our bolt. I'm going to put these through the bottom, and then take our smaller washer and our nut. Just gonna tighten that down by hand. And do that same thing for the other one. And the same goes for these bolts here. We're just gonna leave these hand tight so we can get these lined up with the door latch. And we have no issues. So then we can grab our latch itself. We need 2 more of the bolts and washers. We're just gonna set it on this perch here. We're going to put the bolt through. For these ones, we're going to put our large washer and our nut. Put our second one through with our washer and nut on the back side. Now we'll leave that hand tight. So now you can repeat this process for the passenger front door. As goes for the back, it is the same process for here, but when we get to the door latch, this latch here, the handle is on facing down. So now I'll show you how to do that. All right guys, so now we have our rear door here. We have our bracket. We're gonna line that up for these bottom bolts. Do the bolt, lock washer, and washer. Gonna slide that through the bottom. Put our large washer on and our nut. Get that hand tight. Same for the other one. Now the only real difference between the rear and the front is this door latch handle is going to be facing down. As for the other one, it was facing up. So now we have our bolt, lock washer, and small washer. Gonna put that through. Can grab our large washer, and we're gonna thread our nut onto the back. Same for the other hole. So now we can get our doors onto the vehicle. All right guys, so now we can install our new doors. So we're gonna line these pins up with the mount. Have them fall into place there. Then we can come over to this side and line up our hood latch. So guys, to line up our door latch, we need to get it into place in a spot where it closes. We just gotta find that sweet spot. We'll close that in place. So then, once we get to that point, we're gonna grab our 13mm socket and wrench. We're gonna tighten this right where it is. So now we have it lined up. We're gonna tighten it down with our 13mm socket and wrench. Now we can do that same thing for the outer part. Tighten this down. Now close and open our door. All right, so now we have our door hinges in place. To tighten these down, we're going to use our small washer and our nut. And we're going to put them onto the studs. Do that same process on the bottom one. Sure we have this one on. Don't want to goof up the threads. So now we can tighten these down with our 13mm socket. Now we're going to tighten down all 6 of our latch bolts. So I'm going to have my 13mm socket on the back side and our wrench on the front. Now our front door is in place. All right guys, so now that our driver's side front door is in place, you could do this same process on the other side. So now that you guys got both of your front doors on, we're gonna go ahead and tackle the rear. All right guys, so an optional feature that you guys can do is you can swap the factory mirrors over to your new door, which will just remove those 3 bolts on each of the doors, and they will line up with the 4 holes on the door. So that's going to wrap up the install on our front and rear trail doors in textured black for your 20 to 23 Jeep Gladiator JT. Thanks for watching, and for all things Gladiator, keep it right here at extremeterrain.com.